Good morning. I'm actually back from letting this go overnight. So it's all dry and I like how it's coming together. The glue with the fabric is definitely giving it some sturdiness, which I was definitely hoping for. The edge is fraying just a little bit on the side, so I'm definitely going to want to put some trim or something on the edge just to, cover that up and secure it a little bit more with glue. But I do like the way it's coming together so far. So what I want to do now is I'm going to glue these over. And before I do that, all I want to do for this is I'm going to cut some diagonals to remove some of the bulk that's on these, cover pages here, the side covers. I just want to take a little bit off, not even that much. But like I said, I don't want too much bulk over there on the sides. And the reason I don't want too much over there is because I'm going to be adding end pages, to each of these. And I don't want the fabric, underneath that to really bubble it up or lump it up or whatever there. So I'm just cutting a little bit of the edges off and making sure I don't go down to the very edge of the book because I want to have enough, to turn over here on that edge. So I'm just going to trim that down a little, and then we'll do the same thing we did before. We'll add some glue to it. And as I've been thinking this through, I think I want to try to put some tip-in pages on the edges of my signatures that I have. I'm going to try that anyway, and we'll see how that goes. I saw Aloha Creations actually do something like this, and I wanted to give it a try. So hello, Aloha, if you are watching, my dear. And so I'm just going to fold these over and make sure that everything is pressed down. And because this is inside and this part won't be showing, I didn't smooth out the glue. I'm not so concerned about, what it might look like because it's going to be hidden under my end pages and then also under my signatures. So once again, I'm going to glue this down, and then we'll probably put this aside for a minute and talk about how I'm going to put those signatures in, because as I was thinking about it last night, I realized I probably could have left those side pages on that we cut off, but I didn't, so we will have to work around it. And I don't know exactly what that means yet. So we'll have to do some experimenting and see what we can come up with. So I'm just going to finish pushing this down, making sure that glue is holding everywhere, and then we will move on to the next step. Okay, this is dry now. That's the back. And so we're ready to start reassembling this. So as I was kind of thinking this through, I was thinking I probably could have left one half of these pockets on. So I'm going to have to figure out a different way to do this. And I'm a little bit concerned because I had stitched these to some cardstock, not just cardstock. There's cardstock, but there's also some chipboard in there. So it's already, pretty thick. So I'm going to have to see what we can do. So I was thinking about just adding enough paper around so that I could, I could just put this right in, and I may still do that, and hopefully it won't be too thick. There is a lot of room on both sides here of the middle piece since we cut everything down. So I think it might work okay. I think we might go ahead and give that a try. So I'm probably going to use something sturdy, so probably a little bit sturdier than cardstock. I think I might use like a manila folder, a file folder, or something like that to do that part. So let me go grab one of those. Okay, so I grabbed a file folder, and I'm just going to, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down to size. So I'm probably going to, I don't think it really matters which end I do here in terms of height. So let me grab my pencil. And all I'm doing is I'm lining up original spine that I had, and I'm just going to make a little mark so I know where to cut this down to. And let's cut that down. I might do this way because I'm sure I'm not going to get it straight. Okay, so now this should be the right height there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a spine in this, because what I want to do is I want to sort of wrap this around this whole thing. Whoops, and see, you know, I was hoping I could do this whole thing without taking out any of my fussy cut things in here so I don't have to put them back in. But okay, so the next step then is I just want to measure the spine so I know where to fold. So once again, I'm just going to take this, line it up on the fold, and I'm using the longer edge. So this back piece is longer to make sure I have enough inches to, you know, cover the whole back. So that's why I'm starting from the fold and going towards the longer edge. So let me make sure I have this lined up with my fold. And then I'm going to make a whole line because I think I'm a little bit crooked in there on that cut. I don't think that's exactly straight. So I want to make sure when I do my fold that it is going to accommodate my messy cutting. Okay, so I'm using my scoreboard here, and I'm just going to see that this is lined up as best I can on one of my lines here. And actually, I think I'll use the smaller end. And we'll just make a score right there. And hopefully this is far enough out that my spine will fit in. So let's take a look here if I did this correctly. Yeah, I think that works good, actually. Very good. All right, I think this is gonna work out better than I thought. Okay, so now my next step is then I'm going to cut these off at the right height for the page. So once again, I have this in my fold. And then I think I'm going to mark these, but I think they're about 6 inches wide. So I'm just going to make a little mark. I don't mind if it's a little bit bigger, because my book that I'm putting it in is a little bit bigger, so I think it'll be fine. So I'm just going to mark these, and then maybe I'll measure them just to see if I'm thinking correctly that we're about 6 inches to the end. So from my fold there, yeah, actually it looks like a little bit more maybe than 6 inches, but I'm sure that's because I was being generous with my marking. Yeah, a little bit more, so like 6 1/8. And so I think I'll cut those down to about 6 1/8. Oops. I'll do it this way. So if I measure from the fold 6 1/8, it should be just about where that mark is. And then same thing with this one, 6 1/8 from my fold. Move these out of the way. All right, so now I can keep this right side up so nothing comes flying out again. I have this right here. So now you can see we have sort of our insides ready to go. Ooh, and now it's getting a little big, so we may have to cut things down a little because this doesn't want to fold in for some reason. Wait, do I have it? Yeah. I think I'm going to have to cut down my spine just a little bit more, because now that I put this on, you can see that it doesn't want to sit in there very good anymore. And we definitely want it to sit in there. So I can just cut some of this off, which I think I will do. I'm probably on both sides. I'm just going to use my craft knife again to cut some of this off. And let's see. Actually, I probably am going to use my rotary cutter. I think that worked pretty good last time. If I can hold things down again. So. Actually, you know what? I don't think I can do that either. I think I'm just going to use my scissors, because I can at least control with my hand what I'm doing. All right, where did this come from? Oh, that's upside down. I have no idea where I put my scissors, my big scissors. Oh, there they are. Whew. Do you guys lose things on your desk too? All right, I'm just gonna start small. I can always take more off, but I don't wanna take too much off, because I can't put any back. But I can always come back and take a little more off if I need a little more off. Ooh, this is really not. I think it's because I'm cutting through fabric and through chipboard. It's working a little better. Okay, I'm going to do the other side as well. Okay, friends, I think that it is maybe this that needs to be taken down a little. So, oops. I'm going to make another score mark, because I think my scores, I think that's the problem. So instead of this one, I'm going to make a score line at about 1/8 of an inch inside of that one. And hopefully that will fix our problem. And then I'll have to trim this down for the edge probably. Let's see now. That's better. Could probably even go down one more, maybe. I think I will. One more, 1/8 of an inch. And hopefully this will take care of it. All right, so we have that lined up. I have all these little marks in here, but I want it to be right. I want it to fit properly. Okay. That fits in there good. Yes. Okay, that is much better. It still looks like it's not fitting at the top, but let me just move this around a little. Wonder if that's because of my fabric. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. And now I just need to trim this down since I have a 1/4 of an inch more on there since the fold. Okay, I like it, I like it. We'll just trim this down a little bit more, about a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so now and that fits in there nicely. Okay, so now what I think I'm going to do, since I'm sure that this fits now, it's still a little bit bulky, but I think I'm going to be okay with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this spine that we, had from before, just right down to here. But before I do that, I am going to reinforce these scores that I made with some masking tape, just so they're not quite so, because I weakened it by putting more scores on. So I just want to strengthen them up a little bit by adding some masking tape. And I'm just going to line this up with the score that I want to use, hopefully. And I'm trying not to put it right on it, but right next to it. And then I'll add some to the back as well. Okay, now these are the pages that I'm going to use to tip in, and hopefully they're long enough that this will work. So we'll just have to see. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, probably since they're 12 inches wide and this is about 6 inches, I think I'm just going to have to fold it in half. And then we will, actually maybe I'll cut it down first to size. So I am just going to mark it so that I get the right size on each piece here. And I'll cut it down. And I'm going to mark which one's the front and the back, since I'm not measuring by numbers, but just measuring by, the size of the cover pieces. So this one is my front, just so I don't forget. And then we'll do the same thing for the back. Oh, I'm doing height. Not width, Sharon, just height. Oops, just move that out of the way. And then this one I will just mark as the back. All right. So let's do the back first since we have that one right here. So now I'm just going to fold this in half. Here's my, lost my bone folder. It used to be around here somewhere. I'm telling you, people. I don't know how this happens all the time. Well, I will use my fingers for now. All right. It was where it was supposed to be. I just couldn't find it. Okay. So here's our back. So what we're going to do is I want this to be glued onto here and then be glued onto here so that this will hold everything together. So now I'm hoping, I'm not using cardstock, I'm hoping this will be heavy enough to do this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue it down to the back here. And what glue am I going to use? I think I'm going to use my 3-in-1. And I'm going to glue both of them down first like this before I do anything else, and make sure they're good and dry before I do anything else. And I'm just going to make sure they're lined up with the spine. And burnish down well here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the front. Move this out of the way. All right, so same thing. We're going to glue this down just to this flap. Oh, and I have to go back and glue the spine on. I forgot to do that. So I'm going to glue this down, and then I'm going to glue the spine of my signatures to this piece so that everything is one piece ready to go in when it's all good and dry. All right, let's see if we can bring this thing in for a landing. So I have my pages all on there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to glue these pieces down to the front and to the back. So I just need to be sure that I have my centerpiece in the crease correctly so that I don't, you know, mess up the folds on the sides. And I want to also be sure that it's even, you know, between the top and the bottom, since my middle piece is a little bit smaller than the book cover itself. So that being said, I'm just going to put it in here as I think it should go. Make sure that I am even on the top and the bottom, which I think I pretty much am. And then I am going to glue these down. And I probably will come in later and add some, you know, papers or something, or even maybe, you know, I can use these even as little flip out pages right in here. Since I have them, I could use them again. So that is what I plan to do here. And I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to glue them in. I think I'm going to try to use my 3-in-1 glue. It's been working for me so far. I may try to smooth it out a little bit before I put it down. So actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do the back first. Let's see how that works. And I'm going to make sure I get up on that fabric and everything. And I may have to come back in and work on some of the edges because I don't know how far it's going to go down, and I don't want to get glue all over the place. And I am being generous with the glue this time. And I think I'm going to put, or I am going to smooth it out with something I got here. My Walmart shopping reliable card. All right. And I think I'm going to let that dry before I do the other side. All right, back page is in. I like how that's coming together. And then we're just going to do the same thing on the front. I'm going to hold it in place and then just glue it down like we did before. I think that's going to work. All right, everything's dry. And you can see I have my pages here. I haven't done anything here yet, but my signatures are all in and my end page is all in. and it is way, way sturdier than it was. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. And now I just need to finish it off by adding some trim or something here on the front and the back. And then I was trying to think what to do here, and see, I could have left these on probably, and just been able to, you know, hook them. So I do like these pockets. You know, they obviously hold a lot of stuff. So I was thinking I could glue, this was the front, so I could glue this back on here. And I was thinking, you know, I'll just do that with both of them. But when I put this one in, now this one, maybe it's because of these paper clips, but when I hold this in here, thinking about gluing them in, it kind of makes it a little bit bigger maybe than I want. So I was thinking maybe I'll just do one of the pockets in there, and then I'll just either make a, you know, like a flat pocket here, or even just cover it with some paper to make it look nice there. But the one pocket in the front, I think, will be fine. So I'm going to glue that right down to here, just like it never came detached. I'm going to glue that on there, and that will sit right there. And then I'm just going to probably grab some paper or something to put on here, because I think this is going to be too big. Or maybe I even could just use one side instead, because I don't want to necessarily waste all the stuff that I have here. So maybe I will cut this apart and use just one of the pockets in the back, and maybe that'll keep me from not getting too big there. And then I'm also just going to go find some trim that'll go down here nicely, and we'll get that on there as well. All right. I think this book is done, and I am so happy with how it turned out. It's so much more sturdy than it was. So when I'm grabbing it to, grab some things out of here, it's going to be perfect for what I want. I've been wanting to do that for a while, and I think this was a wonderful solution for that. So I took I cut the pocket in half for this one on the back here, and it's still kind of thick, so I may see if I can rearrange some of these things, or the paper clips are really the big ones, so I might take the paper clips and put them in another ephemera box that I have, and just leave this for cutouts and things like that. But I love the way it turned out, and I hope that you enjoyed watching me struggle along as I rebuilt my ephemera holder. Thanks so much, friends. I hope that you have a great week. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment below and let me know if you do this kind of thing. Take something old and try and repurpose it and make it new again. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.